Hello, welcome to the Mediocre Takes podcast, the podcast where we share our mediocre takes on the shows and movies we watch. I'm Marco, and here's my co-host Mel. How are you doing, Mel?
I've done like 9 loads of laundry and I'm not done yet.
I have so many questions. How much clothes do you have?
I don't like doing laundry because I have to leave my house. So I have accumulated enough clothes to the point where I don't need to do laundry for at least 3 weeks. But then I got sick. So the week I was supposed to do laundry, I was ill and I didn't want to do anything. So that put me at a skeleton closet. So I'm cleaning everything, including my bedding.
Hmm,
And it's taken all day and I'm not done yet.
that sounds horrible.
Yeah, you should feel sorry for me actually, so
I do feel sorry for you.
thank you.
Um, you're welcome. Oh my god. Anyways, today we're talking about Batman versus Robin. This is a continuation of our Batman anime retrospective, where I think we're almost halfway through at least. But yeah, let's just get started. So, Batman vs. Robin is a sequel to Son of Batman, and in this movie, Damian Wayne is struggling with not killing people. While that's happening, both Damian and Bruce are being inquired by the Court of Owls, and Damian starts to fall for their tricks. Now, Batman has to save Robin while fighting Talon, an assassin that works for the Court of Owls. Okay, Mal, you mentioned this during our Son of Batman review, but I didn't notice it during our Son of Batman review. However, I really noticed it during this movie, and that's that Bruce Wayne looks really weird in this movie, and I feel like I need to mention that. Like, something about his face just does not scream Bruce Wayne to me.
Here's the thing. All of the animation looked weird in this.
Mm,
Everyone looked off in this.
hmm But I feel like Bruce Wayne especially looked off because I
He
really noticed that.
Yes, he especially looked off because like I said before, they literally created Damien and was like, we need to make them literally identical. Change how Bruce looks.
Honestly, baffling. Damian Wayne is once again too overpowered for someone who's around 10 years old, and I am really tired because of this. Like, there is no way he had lasted against Batman that long during their fight they had, and I get that Batman was holding back, but still, it just felt weird. Also, the fact that he's able to defeat Nightwing also made me really mad. Not to mention, he's somehow a better detective than Batman because he was able to find the Dollman hideout when Batman couldn't. Like, what? Are you kidding? Is this some kind of joke? Please tell me you're joking. I'm honestly not surprised that Damien contemplated killing Dollman because there's no way Damien has grown enough as a character since we last saw him in Son of Batman. Yeah, it just made sense because again, during Son of Batman, they said there was character development, but from my eyes, there was no character development. Okay, I have a love-hate relationship with the way Talon died in the movie. It makes sense, but at the same time, I feel like Talon definitely could have gone away because Batman was pretty injured. I feel like it could have been a "this isn't the last you've seen of me" moment, but they killed him off instead, and I'm not sure how I feel about that.
I think it makes sense because the way in which he died made sense because he was basically trying to be like, Robin, you killed me.
Hmm.
Um, because there are 2 scenes before that where we have this fake out of Robin seeming like he's about to kill someone and then he chooses not to. And then
Hmm.
the last scene is Talon making that choice for him.
Yeah.
Um, to try and like, I don't know, make him confused or something. Like it makes sense, but it's also a shit story, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I agree with you. It makes sense, but also like, what's the point? At the end of the day, you're still dead. You know, it was weird. I don't know how I feel about it. I did not expect the leader of the Court of Owls to be the girl Bruce was romantically involved with. Though now that I think about it, the reveal is pretty obvious. I also found it funny when she died, and I just wanted to mention that. Like Talon kisses her, and she's like, "Oh my god, he's kissing," me," and then stop. I don't know. It's something about that was really funny.
That's Azula, by the way.
Azula, that's her name.
Yeah, same voice. No, same voice actor.
Oh, okay.
What is it like,
Okay.
Gray Delise or something?
I was like, Azula from Avatar.
Yeah, same character. They're in the same universe.
Okay, so there's this scene where Bruce Wayne, as a child, kills an owl, and that scene felt like it was really out of place and didn't need to be there at all. I don't know what the writers were thinking with that one. Like, he has a no killing rule, but he'll kill animals instead. What?
As a child,
As a child? Yeah.
like one of the like, what is it? It's like one of the like staple things you should look out for, and like someone who might grow up to become a fucking serial killer.
I don't know what the writers were thinking. I don't know what the writers were thinking with these past three movies you watch, honestly.
Marco, I don't think the writers were thinking.
I think they were all the same writers. The drug trip sequence that Batman has was actually really enjoyable. Please add more Batman trauma to Batman films. What?
You thought that was enjoyable?
I thought it was interesting.
Wow. Okay.
Did you not?
I wrote down Bruce's hallucination sequence in the tunnel was fucking stupid. And that's all I have to say about that.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of like the moment where he realizes it's not him that's killing his parents, or I think that's what was going on, but it was Damien instead, and he realized like, oh, I'm being a bad father. I don't know. Something about that made sense to me.
I I don't know. Let's I want to think about this for a second.
Okay.
So his fear is that he is going to raise someone to become a serial killer,
Yeah. I
right?
guess. Yeah.
Okay.
So I guess he should be the serial killer because he killed an animal as a child.
What the fuck? Okay, so he's afraid he's gonna raise his son to become a serial killer because he he doesn't trust his the biggest issue between him and Damien in this is that he doesn't trust him. So he
Mhm.
thinks that him not trusting his son is gonna make his son turn into a serial killer.
Well, when you put it like that,
Like, what the fuck?
okay, you have a point. Okay. I'll admit that. I had mixed feelings on Talon ending up killing the Court of Owls. It was not something I was expecting, but I think it adds a lot to Talon's backstory and how he sees himself in Damien. Talon's backstory was also pretty good in this too. However, I do have a problem with this. I feel like despite the Court of Owls being the main villains in the movie, they ended up being not as used as they should have been and were taking out of the story way too easily and quickly. Like there was all this build up for them for nothing.
Wait, that's kind of crazy because they literally I don't know if Talon is a character in like the comics or anything. This is
Mhm.
my first introduction to him. This is my first introduction to the Court of Owls. But the fact that we were introduced to Talon and the Court of Owls in one film and in the same film they are both eliminated is so crazy to me. Especially since there was so much build up to the Court of Owls, like you said. And then in an instant, Talon didn't get his way, so he killed all of them. Okay.
Yeah, what makes it even worse is that like Bruce like has this thought that the Court of Owls were behind his parents' death for a while, right? So like at the end of the day, like all that build was for nothing, and that's
Yeah.
just kind of annoying. Damien realizing that Bruce is his father made no sense because just like in Son of Batman, Damien has no character development at all, like literally zero, and that's all I have to say about this movie.
Okay, so the first scene. We didn't need to bring kids into this. I think I've made this clear before, but I don't like when children get hurt. I don't like the depictions of it. I don't like the implications of it. So obviously, I hated the doll maker, and I don't understand why we particularly needed to use this villain when I feel like there are so many more villains to choose from that could have filled his role. Okay, the whole thing that he was trying to replicate was like, I'm saving these children. But I feel like anyone else could have done this, or anyone else could have put Batman in a situation and Robin in a situation where they were like, we need to protect these kids, or something like that. I don't like it, and it has a lot to do with the scene where we see this kid who has bandages around their arms and they have like saws on their hands or something, and just that's like the implication of child mutilation is really disgusting, and I did not like it in this film. This movie is filled with bad writing, and it really shows with the flashback of Bruce's dad telling his child a story about basically the Illuminati and how they kill people they don't like. Are you seriously telling me that that was the best way to set up Bruce finding out about the Court of Owls? Lazy, uninspiring, and boring. I think the biggest issue when writing a Batman fight scene is A, determining how advanced Batman's suit is, and B, determining how strong his opponent is. Personally, I really don't think it made sense for the court's minions to be able to beat down Bruce so easily.
Yes, I agree with you. Batman is too weak and Robin is too strong for some reason. Should be the opposite way around. I don't know why they chose that way. It's wild.
I think it's kind of crazy to me that once again we're going with the is Damien moral enough to be Robin storyline? As if we didn't just get that with Son of Batman. Boring! Okay, I think my issue with Damien being Robin is the fact that he's too much like his dad. So we basically have two Batmans, and the bickering is beyond annoying. As much as I don't like Jason Todd, the dynamic between him and Bruce was much more interesting in a way that Damien and Bruce's isn't. When Robin takes off his mask, what did he think was going to happen? Genuinely. We are supposed to believe that Damien is this strategic genius, like he's 1,000 steps ahead of everybody, but he didn't think exposing himself wouldn't lead to people immediately believing Bruce is Batman. Bad writing. And then I have a bullet point that just says I have a bullet point that just says that's crazy, bad writing. I have no idea what I was referencing.
I
Um,
think you're referencing the whole entire movie.
Probably. At the end, they decide to throw in a bat mech suit, which makes me further believe that this is an unfinished, unedited script. Because for what reason? Why? He used it for zero point 0.5 seconds before it got destroyed.
Overall, I think this is a pretty bad movie. Robin, way too overpowered. Batman is somehow defeated like a bit by Robin. Although Batman was holding back, I still feel like that scene really bothered me. It did not make sense at all. Batman was just really weak in this, and so is Nightwing. How is Nightwing defeated by a 10-year-old? Explain that to me. Explain that to me. Someone please explain that to me. Yeah, this movie was just bad. I feel like Robin also, he was not thinking at all when it came to Talon or the Court of Owls. There was just so much about this movie that did not make sense. And yeah, I didn't like it.
This was a waste of my time. Truly a boring and uninspiring story. The Court of Owls isn't particularly interesting to me. I don't like Damien and Bruce's dynamic. The characters didn't make sense, and there was so much added to this movie that led to nothing. The story truly felt like a rough draft, and it's so tragic to me that the two films featuring Damien suck so much ass when it's actually really important that DC makes him likable if he's going to be the new Robin for however many more years. I understand that the comic Damien is probably better written, but if you're pumping out animated films as consistently as DC does, you have to be putting more care into the characters, and I genuinely think none of these writers like Damien.
Okay, Mel, I asked you this before, and I'll continue to ask this as long as we're doing our Batman anime retrospective. But if you had to predict where you'd rank this movie from S to F, where would you predict your ranking to be?
Okay, so I watched this the same day I watched Assault on Arkham. I was in a very bad mood at the time, so I put this at an F. I don't know if it's F tier worthy yet. The only F tier film both of us have is Son of Batman for the SA scene alone. Never mind the fact that it's just a bad movie. So for now, I'm gonna put it at F. I'll probably have to do a lot of moving on my chart because of Son of Batman in these two horrible movies.
Yeah, if I had to predict where I'm going to rank this, I'm going to give this a D for now. I think it's pretty bad. I don't think it's Son of Batman levels bad, because nothing can outmatch Son of Batman so far, at least. But yeah, it's just not that good of a movie. I feel like there are a lot of plot points that could have been interesting, but that went nowhere. And specifically talking about the Court of Owls, yeah, this movie just didn't make sense for me at all. Anyways, guys, that's our thoughts on Batman versus Robin. If you want to send us a voice message on Spotify for podcasters, the link in the description to do so below. That's Instagram, Twitter, @MidTakesPod, and a YouTube channel @The Mediocre Takes Podcast. And that's everything. So, goodbye.